Monday here. I'm like all showered and feeling ready to fall asleep if you cannot tell. But I've decided I really want to do my best to be consistent with my Motivational Mondays, even if it's a very quick word, even if it's going to be something that no one ends up watching. This is a practice, it's consistency. It's important. If this is a goal, I want to be sure to follow through with my own advice, to work at it, to really do whatever it takes to become better at what I do. Even if that's making videos where even one person watches, it's fine. But the word that I have today is to not let anything or anyone steal your joy. This weekend, I went on a kind of getaway retreat to Redding, California. I went to Bethel Church, and on Saturday, spent like 5 hours in a prayer room, just reflecting, thinking, praying about the last year, praying for this year, kind of pouring out my heart to God, and also just being in the presence of God. And then I just had a really incredible weekend where I was like, I spent time with friends and like people who I really see as family. And I was like, wow, like it was honestly like an incredible weekend. And then of course, like I'm going home. 5 minutes to getting home, I got a citation for kind of a dumb driving mistake because I didn't know how to use the fast track lane. And I got pulled over, got a citation, had a really long day, and it was like today it just seemed like a lot of things went wrong, and as you can see. But anyway, I realized sometimes this is kind of how things tend to go in life, where you seem like you're going on a high, everything is great, 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 and then suddenly things start to go wrong, and it almost seems like a tumultuous, is that the right word, where just everything just goes downhill, and it seems like it all happens at once. And then what? How do you respond? That's really the main point of this video, is like, when everything goes wrong, how do you respond? Do you choose to forget that all the good that has been happening actually did happen because you're so focused on the bad? Or do you take the bad and say, I'm not going to let this get me down? Do you take the bad and ask yourself or ask God, what do you want me to learn? What am I meant to learn through these things? I believe that so much of this life is dependent on how we respond to certain situations. And so in the context of this video, I just want to encourage you guys, when things go wrong, I want you to remember to just speak over your life. Tell yourself, I won't let anything steal my joy. No matter what's going on. And I feel like this is especially a message for Christians who strongly believe that the Lord is their joy. If God is your joy, when things all of a sudden go wrong, do you ever feel like you lose that joy? When everything goes wrong, is it like suddenly everything is just dark? There's no happiness, nothing. I believe that when that happens, it is really up to us to learn how to have a mind shift. Because, there's the book by Joyce Meyer called Battlefield of the Mind. I believe that's so relevant, especially in this topic. So many things have to do with how aware we are to what's happening around us. And I really believe when you have like these amazing things happening, especially during the times where you're getting closer to God, it's always around that time where suddenly it's like, and then everything goes wrong. When you're aware, you start to realize that that's an attack from the enemy, because the enemy is trying to steal your joy. The enemy is trying to make you believe that every promise that God has ever given you isn't going to happen, that God's not going to come through in any of your situations. Whenever you're getting closer and doing everything you can to be intimate with the Lord, the enemy is going to do everything in his power to try to get you to turn your head to look at any place where God might not be. But we know that the word says that there's nowhere we can go where God isn't. God is in every single place that we could ever be. but it's up to us to like put kind of like almost blinders on our eyes, where it's like, okay, there's so much bad going on around me, but I'm going to put these blinders on and say that isn't here, because the Lord is my savior. The Lord is my foundation. He is the one who's going to get me through this. I'm going to look to God rather than out at my situation. So yeah, if there's anything you take away from this video, then it's this. When bad starts to happen, look to the Father and don't let anything steal your joy. All the bad that we go through, it's all a distraction from the prize. It's all a distraction from the goal. It's all a distraction from the one person who's never going to leave, the one person who is constant, and that is God. So, yeah, I really believe like this Motivational Monday is very specific towards Christians who really hold on to the reality like God is my joy. God is everything I look to. When things go wrong and when you start to find yourself looking at every bad situation, don't let anything steal your joy. Put blinders on. Acknowledge those situations are there. Don't get me wrong. Acknowledge it. But put blinders on and say, I'm not going to focus on those things. I'm going to focus on the Lord. I really believe that God responds to that. How long it takes, for those situations to like kind of die down, I don't know. But you'll start seeing that things change when you look to the Father above your situation. The burden comes off of your shoulder because it's no longer your burden to bear. You realize that God already took care of it on the cross. All right, so thank you guys. Have a good night, good week, good day whenever you're watching this, and talk to you next week. Bye!